but you want to take loving and the passion from the American side, but you want to bring some version of stability and like brains from the Asian sides. A new global study shows that Americans and Italians feel the most love in their life, while Germans and Chinese feel the least amount of love. David, as Chinese Americans, where do we fall on this?
Oh man, what a global study. Let's read the headline. It says, Americans are amongst the most loving, Chinese and Germans the least. Andrew, this was a study that came out of Poland and involved, 100 scientists worldwide? What do we think of the results?
Well, David, I just have a question to ask you. What does love mean? What does it mean to be loving?
Yeah.
It is a feeling. How can you quantify it?
I would also like to point out that engineering and the streets are clean. So what is love when your place is dirty and you can make good cars? I'd just like to ask this question.
The Chinua, they don't know love, so they buy the Italian brand.
The Chinese, they don't know the pasta that is like noodles but with amore.
Oh, pasta is just loving noodles. That's hilarious.
Make sure you guys like, subscribe, turn on your notifications from silly to serious. I'm going to put this in the silly category, but obviously the implications of culture, macro, micro, individual applications, societal application are more on the serious end because let's be honest, Andrew, the world is different. These are global stereotypes. If you Google, why are Germans so serious? Why are Germans not funny? Why are Chinese so unexpressive? Why do Chinese not make different expressions with their faces? We're talking about literally hundreds, if not thousands, of threads pop up. Some are academic, some are unacademic.
Yeah, all right, guys, let me talk about more of the findings here, but please make sure to hit that like button and let us know if you like the commentary and the news we cover. All right, so participants in US, Italy, Portugal, and Hungary reported the most loving relationships, while in China, Germany, Turkey, and Pakistan, they showed the least love. David, here's an interesting part, though. This has to do with the Human Development Index, HDI. Interestingly, however, in countries with the highest levels of modernization, love tended to fall off slightly. This suggests that although a country's economic development generally promotes more intense love experiences, reaching a certain developmental point might reverse these beneficial love effects.
Well, I will say this, man. I think there's pros and cons to every approach to life, Andrew. In Germany, I think they're making some of the best combustion cars in the world. And right now, I think you could argue that China has some of the most advanced EVs in the world. So both the best car makers in each sector, I'm not saying, I think the Chinese one is more debatable than Germans making good combustion cars. Right. But what does that mean? Does it mean you make good cars, but you're not emotive and you're not loving because the humans are robots? Let's be honest, that's the stereotypical takeaway from this,
What
right?
I think, and this is my initial thought, is that the more engineers your country graduates, the higher rate of engineers, the least loving it is. Because Germans have great engineers. China graduates a lot of engineers. India, surprisingly, also graduates a lot of engineers, too. So I don't know where they fall in the happiness. I don't know. Were they involved in this?
They certainly did better than China, but obviously I do think they have a lot of religion and spirituality there that's a little bit different. Korea ranked a little bit higher than China, but not way higher.
Right. Overall, Asia didn't rank the highest on this.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked that by Polish standards, East Asia seems the coldest, most Confucian, withdrawn people. I do think Japan was not included in the study. If you made me be honest, I think the ranking would go like China, South Korea, Japan in terms of lovingness. If you made me guess how it would have played out, just me guessing.
Am I shocked that Portugal and Italy, places around the Iberian Peninsula, minus Spain, were ranking at the top? Like, these are places with great food, kind of a chill culture, were developed a long time ago, but maybe haven't been developing lately in the past few decades.
Yeah, we're no longer worried about the having of the colonies and ruling the world. We just worried about the lifestyle. That was a pretty bad accent, but come on, you guys know where I was going with it. Anyway, Andrew, let's just get into our thoughts real quick. I mean, what do you think about these sounding kind of stereotypical? I guess the only one you would imagine that was like a little bit surprising was America being ranked so high. Canada didn't get ranked. But I guess America also has a lot of people from Latin America and from Sicily, specifically in Italy, from it. And those places rank really high, Latin America and the Latin countries. So America has a lot of Latin influence. Is that why America ranks so high?
Yeah, you're saying it's actually the Latin and Italian population in America that's boosting the American
Anybody
numbers?
who speaks a Latin-based language is happy.
But then there is a lot of people of German descent in America. But maybe those are the unhappy white people. I don't know.
Yeah. But also, I believe a lot of people of British and German descent in America, Andrew, they just go, I'm just a plain old American. I ain't really tracing it back to those days.
Oh, I got a theory. I thought that the unhappy, unloving immigrants in America would bring down the score, but they didn't.
Well, that's because Asians only 6% of America.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just kidding, guys. Come on, these are macro stereotypes, but obviously there's some probability truth to them, right? I would say this. America's really interesting because there's so many fish bowls. America is a huge game map. It's a huge patchwork quilt of different societies and cultures somewhat melted together. It depends on which patchwork quilt you exist on, right? Which tile do you land on?
Yeah, maybe the people in California tend to be more loving than the people in Philadelphia.
But the people in Philadelphia, they might love you if you're part of the Eagles squad.
Right,
if you
right,
fly
right.
Eagles fly, we might love you. Andrew, what do you think about the Asian parent stories Reddit? I know that you are saying this means something.
No, if you go on the Asian parent stories Reddit, it's like it has a bunch of unhappy stories about Asian parents not showing enough love. Now, I think different cultures show love differently. I think that Asian parents do love their kids a lot of the time.
You have a roof over your head. You have food to eat. You have a bed to sleep. Daddy was here every day. And then you have the nerve to say, I am not loving.
Yeah.
What is love?
I don't know if in the survey they asked the question, how loved do you feel when your parents bring you a sliced plate of fruit silently to you,
Right, but you're saying that this clearly points out something because I don't know if there's like a German parent subreddit.
Yeah, but if you go on the German Reddit page, everybody's like, yo, this Reddit is depressing, guys.
No,
What's
it's
going
true.
on?
Yeah. Honestly, you want my real takeaway? It has to do with oxytocin. And here's a couple charts explaining what oxytocin is. It's the love hormone. It has to do with expression. Some people think it's a physical glandular thing. Some people think it's a little bit more like blah, blah, blah. I mean, for me, I tend to more believe, at least how I visualize it in my mind, the infographic of a mind, oxytocin release glands actually have they're like pipes. And certain cultures have way bigger pipes and other cultures have way more narrow pipes, which could create some sort of funnel backup effect in terms of like expression hormone. That's how I perceive it.
Okay.
Like, you guys let me know. I mean, I guess if you're a doctor who studied this, I'm just saying like different cultures have different piping diameter.
So the Germans are not releasing enough dopamine?
They're not releasing the oxytocin, but the oxytocin, the dopamine, and the serotonin, the endorphins, they're all related.
Got it. Guys, here's some comments about this. Someone said, oh man, I don't like these stats. What is the HDI? How do you measure this? This is BS. Plus, this website doesn't even look legit. I don't believe this. Someone said from Brazil, as a Brazilian person, there is no way the US ranks higher than us on the loving scale. And a lot of people are like, yeah, Latin America should definitely be up there. What's going on? I don't believe this because Latin Americans should be more loving.
Yeah, that's a good point. And we showed this study to some people in our families, and they were questioning it, obviously, because we're Chinese. And they were like, yeah. Well, which culture do you go with, Andrew? If you're Chinese American, which one do you go with, the American culture or the Chinese culture?
Man, it's like you want to pick and choose, right? It's like you got like different options.
You want to mix and match, right?
Yeah, you want to mix and match your plate.
That's hard,
right?
though. It's hard.
It's hard, but you want to take loving and the passion from the American side, but you want to bring some version of stability and like brains from the Asian side. So it's very tough. David,
let's be honest, Andrew. A lot of the girls go with the American side.
Yeah, because they go for passion and love and emotion. Yeah. But this is a funny comment. Pakistan feels like a country that loves a ton on an individual level, while Sweden feels like a country that loves a lot on a macro level at the expense of the individual's feeling.
Yeah, people were talking about societal love, basically providing a societal floor for everybody or what works for everybody versus like being a little bit clannish with just loving your family with maybe possibly some disregard for the rest of society.
Sure, okay.
Not at the expense of, not that you're disregarding, but you just value whatever's happening to your family way more than society.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's interesting too. Somebody said it has a lot to do with communism, Andrew. China's recent history with communism. East Germany, obviously with the Berlin Wall, it fell. And, part of Germany was communist for a long time too. And that sort of creates people, environmentally, nature versus nurture, who find it very tough to express themselves and kind of mentally put themselves in a box. So even once those box barriers are theoretically removed, they're still in that box.
Right.
I guess they call that cage dog trauma syndrome.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, overall, I would say, like, all in all, guys, like, if you meet typical Italian people, I guess, like, if you've met them overseas or you meet them in America, typically, yeah, they do
They're
kiss.
very effusive.
Yeah, they kiss a lot when they greet, you know, they're known to be good lovers.
Talk with their hands.
Yeah, the language is very romanticized. They are considered attractive people, like men and women. Americans also have this personality that is considered abroad very out there, outgoing and adventurous, you know, and loving and passionate, you know. So I
Why
guess
wouldn't we be, man? Top of the world, man.
yeah. So I guess it makes sense. It kind of confirms stereotypes, but I guess it also goes to show you that stereotypes come from somewhere, because even in our research and what we know about culture, we're able to at least hypothesize about why this is.
I think my biggest point where I disagree with this study is like using the word loving. I think that means a lot of different things in a lot of different cultures. Because like we said, in the East, if you're like just have both parents and the environment's not too toxic, it's not about hugs and kisses and words of affirmation, right? Or positive reinforcement. That is not conventional, traditional Confucian society. I'm not saying that that's better than like Socratic theory or whatever, you know, like different philosophies we have in the West, but it's just very, very different. Culture is very different, right? So I guess, what do you think about them using the word love versus just saying like, yeah, maybe Germans and Chinese have less oxytocin diameter?
I don't know. I mean, because I guess if you translate the word love into different languages and just love, you know what I mean? Like,
well, nobody's going to pay attention to the study if they just say it's about oxytocin release and expressiveness.
I guess it just, I don't know. The results kind of make sense to some level. So I guess people are rolling with it.
You are looking at it from the Western eye. But of course, we get what they're saying, right? I mean, look at all these photos of all these Germans in Germany. Like, they look like stone-faced, right?
Yeah.
And we had a Vietnamese friend who traveled with us to China, and he was always like, man, Chinese culture and Vietnamese culture are so close, but we feel like you guys are the stone people. You guys are made out of stone compared to how expressive we are. And I was just like, yeah, there's a lot of things that go into that. It's a family thing. It's the recent history. It's the systems that govern us. It's the way we're raised. Right. It's our family structures. It is hierarchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. These are global stereotypes. I guess you could say this Polish study is nothing new, but they're trying to put some science behind some larger macro stereotypes, archetypes, whether you say it comes from a Western lens or not. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Do you believe these? Do you believe these with caveats? Or you don't believe these? Keep it civil. Until next time, we the Hot Boy Boys. We out. Peace.